It all began on a warm spring morning in Seattle when Emily Dawson stepped into her favorite coffee shop, the Morning Brew, just like she did every weekday before work. She was a graphic designer at a marketing firm, juggling deadlines, ideas, and late-night brainstorming sessions. That morning, the soft hum of chatter and the comforting aroma of roasted beans filled the air as she stood in line, scrolling through her phone, completely unaware that her life was about to take a turn she never expected. Behind the counter, a new barista was working, a man with kind blue eyes and an easy smile that seemed to light up the room. His name tag read, Daniel. When Emily reached the counter, he looked up and smiled at her in a way that wasn't flirtatious, just genuine and warm. "Good morning," he said cheerfully. "What can I get for you?" Emily smiled back, ordering her usual caramel latte. Their brief exchange lasted less than a minute, but something about it lingered in her mind as she walked to work, sipping her coffee. Over the next few weeks, their small conversations grew longer. Daniel had just moved from Portland, chasing a quieter life after years of working in finance. Emily found herself opening up too, talking about her projects, her dog, her favorite books. It was innocent, friendly, and yet there was an undeniable connection. Daniel listened in a way few people did, and she found herself looking forward to that smile each morning. At home, Emily's husband, Michael, was a software engineer, quiet and hardworking but often buried in his own world. They had been married for 6 years, and while their love was still there, it had dulled with time, buried under responsibilities, routines, and the quiet fatigue of adulthood. She loved him deeply, but something in her felt unseen. One rainy evening, Emily stopped by the coffee shop after work to escape the storm. The shop was nearly empty, and Daniel was cleaning the counter. He looked surprised but happy to see her. They sat by the window, talking about life and their dreams. Daniel shared how he used to paint but stopped after his father passed away. Emily told him how she missed the spark she once felt about her art. The conversation felt comforting, like finding someone who understood the silence inside her. As weeks passed, their friendship deepened. They texted occasionally, simple things like song recommendations or jokes about customers. There was no physical line crossed, but emotionally, Emily began to realize she was treading dangerous waters. She started feeling guilty for thinking about Daniel when Michael was sitting right beside her watching TV. One weekend, Emily decided to talk to Michael. They sat at the kitchen table, the soft morning light spilling through the window. "I feel like we've drifted apart," she said quietly. Michael looked surprised, then nodded. "I know," he admitted. "Work's been consuming me. I guess I stopped noticing how far we've gone." That moment of honesty opened something between them. They talked for hours, about work, stress, and their shared dreams. For the first time in months, Emily felt connected to her husband again. Still, Daniel's presence remained in her thoughts. One Friday afternoon, he invited her to a local art exhibit he was attending. Emily hesitated but decided to go. It felt harmless. The gallery was filled with soft jazz music and the smell of fresh paint. Daniel stood beside her, quietly admiring a piece of art that showed two people walking in opposite directions under one umbrella. "It's about timing," he said softly. "Sometimes people meet at the wrong time." Emily felt her heart ache at those words. She realized how easily emotions can blur when loneliness whispers comfort. She smiled sadly and said, "Maybe, but it's our choices that define who we are." Daniel nodded, his expression thoughtful. That night, when she got home, Michael was waiting for her with dinner. He had even lit candles, a small gesture that spoke volumes. Emily's heart filled with gratitude. She knew she had been standing at a crossroads, and tonight, she chose the right path. The next morning, Emily went to the coffee shop early. Daniel smiled when he saw her, but she could tell by the look in her eyes that she had made peace with her heart. "Hey," she said gently, "I wanted to thank you for being a friend. But I think I need to focus on what I already have." Daniel nodded, his smile soft but understanding. "You're a good person, Emily," he said. "And I'm glad I met you." As she walked out of the shop, the cool morning air hit her face, and she felt lighter, like a chapter had closed gracefully. Over the next few months, she and Michael started taking evening walks, cooking together, laughing like they used to. The warmth returned, not in a grand gesture, but through small, everyday moments that truly mattered. Years later, Emily would look back and realize that what began with just one smile wasn't an affair of betrayal, it was a wake-up call. A reminder that love, real love, isn't about chasing what feels new or exciting, but choosing the person who stands by you through the quiet days, the ordinary mornings, and the endless little routines that make a life together. She never saw Daniel again after he moved to another city, but sometimes she thought about him with gratitude. Not for what almost happened, but for reminding her to rediscover what she already had. Love, she learned, isn't about perfection or passion alone, it's about the courage to stay when things get hard, and the wisdom to know when your heart is already home.